Salmon, Science Friday, week 7. It's got a nice ring to it, huh? Welcome back. Lot of stuff going on this week, my friends. If you have not noticed behind me, maybe you noticed in the live stream video, but our fish have upgraded a little bit. They're no longer buried down here in the gravel. We're not going to be diving into the tank this week. I'm going to be able to show you a lot more actually from the outside of the tank. So again, lots changed. Most of our fish are swimming around, having the time of their lives. They're actually trying to find their favorite spot. So you can see a lot of them are sort of schooling up over here. You can see on the other side, they're sort of schooling up over there. So the way that I've got, you can see right here, that's the filter water, and then the chiller water is a little harder to see. It's up here. I've got them both pointing in the same direction. I'm trying to create a river, actually, so it's one directional flow that the salmon by instinct will try to find their place in there. So they might want to swim straight into it if they're feeling real strong and mighty. They may want to do kind of what these fish are doing, is find the slower moving water, and so the water inside the tank is moving. So you're seeing their instincts starting to kick in. So I'll show you some close-ups. You'll start noticing that our fish have definitely gone away from that clear body with the bright red yolk sac. So now you're going to see their skin is starting to get a little more olive colored, a little more silvery, a little bit more of those par marks are going to start developing a little bit. So they're getting their river camouflage on. So while you're taking a look, pay attention to what they're looking at. For your observations, we're actually going to go on another field trip again today. So we're going to actually do a comparison between our coho salmon and spring Chinook or king salmon. So Ranger Marjie up in Leavenworth is going to show off her fish this week. And so for your observations, just pay attention to the way that they look, because we'll compare them to the Leavenworth Chinook salmon. For your drawing, like I mentioned, since they have their river camouflage on now, I want your challenge this week to be, use your imagination, use what we've talked about so far when we're saying where salmon like to live when they're tiny in the rivers, places that keep them safe, or when they're ready to eat, places they can find food. So I want you to use your imagination this week, and I want you to, in your drawing, draw what our coho salmon look like now, but in the background, I'd love for you to show me the types of places that you think that they'd be hiding or trying to find food in, and label it. Label if you think that they're hiding here or if you're trying to find food. So that's your challenge for this week. Let's take a close-up, shall we? All right, well, welcome back. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn our attention to Ranger Marjie up at the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery. Like I said, they're up there raising spring Chinook salmon. So she's going to tell you all about them, and I hope you enjoy this field trip.
Hi fish friends, I'm Ranger Marjie up here at Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery, and today I've got a treat for you. We are going to look at some baby spring Chinook salmon. I know, pretty exciting, right? Now you've probably been watching your coho salmon grow over the school year, from little coho eggs until they hatch out into coho alzin, also known as sack fry. Now we've got a different species of salmon up here in Leavenworth called Chinook salmon, and our Chinook are spring Chinook salmon. Now there's a few differences between Chinook and coho salmon. For one thing, Chinook salmon live longer than coho salmon, and so they can grow to be bigger than coho. Pretty cool, right? They also have slightly different colors when they're ready to spawn. Chinook salmon tend to be a little bit more olive green with sometimes some reddish or pinkish colors, whereas coho salmon tend to be much darker green with sometimes brighter red on their sides. The other big difference between coho salmon and spring Chinook salmon, like the ones here in Leavenworth, is that spring Chinook salmon lay their eggs in August and September, while coho salmon wait to lay their eggs until October or November. So the little coho eggs that you've been watching grow are a couple months younger than the little baby spring Chinook salmon that we have up here in Leavenworth. Well, we're going to go check out the spring Chinook salmon and see how they're doing and what growth stage they're at right now. So let's go see. Finished absorbing their yolk sacs, which means they're starting to get really energetic and excited about swimming around and finding their own food. In the wild, this would be the time when the alvins start to get ready to swim up from underneath the gravel and out into the river so they can look for insects and bugs and other delicious things to eat. Here at the hatchery, as soon as they finish absorbing the very last of their pink yolk sacs, we're going to take them out of the incubation tray that you saw and put them into big green tanks where they have a lot more room to swim around and where we can feed them every day. How often do you think a baby salmon needs to eat food? Think for a second about a baby human and how often they eat every day. Babies eat quite a lot, right? Well, it's the same thing with salmon. We feed our baby salmon here at the hatchery up to 8 times every day. They need to eat a lot of little meals many times during the day. And that helps them grow and get big and strong and ready to be moved outside to the outdoor ponds. So that's what's coming up next for our spring Chinook salmon here at Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery. I hope you enjoyed seeing our fish today, and maybe sometime you can make a trip up to the fish hatchery to see the fish in person.
Thanks, Margie. She's the best, isn't she? I know I said that about Brooke. They're both the best, aren't they? And their fish are so cute. Just like ours. So, I hope you learned a lot about spring Chinook up there. We do have some of our fish, just like Margie's, still have a little bit of that yolk sac on them, so we're not quite ready to start feeding yet. We'll probably think about feeding them once you don't see any more of that red sack, and it's called buttoned up, where they'll just see a nice little line on their belly, and then we'll start thinking about getting ready to feed them. So I hope you enjoyed your Salmon Science Friday this week, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Whoa, 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 I almost totally forgot. So thank you to everybody who's been sending in their salmon names. This is going to be one of the more fun parts of Salmon Science Friday. So what I did is I already set up our little list. So when you should have seen it when you were logging into Salmon Science Friday. So keep those names coming. Check you later.